Hey, we are live in session 3 of day 2 of Meditation Magazine's Peace Summit. This is Kevin Ellerton and Nini Lee, coming to you from New York and Barcelona. And we just finished a beautiful, powerful conversation with an Israeli and Palestinian ex-combatant, currently peace activists. I'm just still recovering a little bit from that. Nee, what did you think of that conversation just now?
It was incredible and definitely a lot to digest. For sure, I think I need some time to integrate. Just everything that they shared. It's real. I feel very, very grateful to actually be able to hear from these kind of people that have actually been in the midst of it all, and it's really mind-blowing what they've been through and to be where they are now.
Yeah, I think hearing these conversations can bring more nuance to the way that we think about these conflicts in around the world, where things can get very black and white and one-sided. And to be able to hear people on both sides and their stories and understand the deep struggles that people have, I think can be really, really important in bringing healing and peace to this world. So I see some eyeballs popping up here. I want to ask, can you hear the stream? Can you hear me okay? Can you see the stream okay? Just every time I start a new stream, I just want to make sure. Please post a comment. Let us know if you're able to hear and see this. Okay. And the more that people that you guys share these things, Amanda Butler can see and hear. Thank you so much for letting me know. So, and the more that you guys share these streams, the more, like, all you have to do is on Facebook or YouTube, you can just hit the share button. You can share it somewhere and people can come and join watching the stream. What that does is it helps us to reach more people, to be able to spread peace farther and wider around the world, to help your friends, your family members, to welcome them into a peaceful space, a space in contrast with, for example, the broadcast news, where instead of blaming, instead of fighting, instead of victimizing and villainizing and dehumanizing, instead of all that stuff that happens on, unfortunately, some of the mainstream media, we are bringing an alternative here. We're bringing the alternative of peace, nonviolence, reconciliation, understanding, empathy, and compassion. So yeah, please share this as much as you can, and we'll have more people meditating with us. In the coming session, we are going to be airing 3 powerful meditations that can help us to get in touch with the love in our hearts, release the trauma and the baggage that we carry around with us, and just find the peace within ourselves. One of the meditations is from Cotter to release trauma. One is from Tara Culbertson to also to let go of baggage that we carry around with us and to get in touch with our hearts. And one is from Kimberly Snyder, the founder of Soluna, and she is doing a heart coherence meditation. And actually, I think both Tara and Kimberly are doing heart coherence type meditations that get us in touch with our hearts, that allow us to live through the love that comes from our hearts rather than the divisiveness and division that comes from our minds. So, and then finally, we're going to be wrapping up with Nee guiding us in a live meditation before we end the day today. So I'm excited for all of these things, and let's start with, let's see, who should we start with? I have a little list here. I think we should start with Tara Culbertson's meditation. I can see she's here in the watching the stream right now. So I'm going to share that And then we will move on to Brett Cotter's meditation on releasing trauma, and then finally to Kimberly Snyder's meditation on heart coherence. Okay, Tara, coming up now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Tara Culbertson, and I'm grateful to connect with you here today as part of Meditation Magazine's Peace Summit. You've likely been following along with the Peace Summit and listening to impactful stories about peace. Today, I'll guide us through a meditation session aimed at cultivating inner peace. I have this necklace quote attributed to Gandhi on it. It's hard to see with the light. I've had it for decades, and it's be the change you wish to see in the world. And I looked up this quote when I was thinking about this subject in the peace meditation, and it turns out it might be paraphrasing what Gandhi said originally, which is, if we could change ourselves, the tendencies in the world could also change. It's the same sentiment as the often quoted, be the change you wish to see in the world, but I see it as a little bit more powerful statement that inspires action. And I think it beautifully captures the essence of how inner peace at an individual level ripples out and affects the whole. Aristotle was quoted as saying, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And this also highlights the idea that when we zoom out to see the whole, we can see the individual ripples creating these collective waves, and that impact is greater than the sum of its parts. So I just want to quickly touch on 3 actionable things that we can each do to create shifts towards bringing more peace at a global level. So there's meditation. And then along with meditation comes self-inquiry, which happens when we regularly meditate. And then Sangha, or a community to help inspire you to keep you along the path of being peace, being a peaceful agent for the world. I recently had the pleasure of completing Meditation Magazine's 200-hour teacher training course. And I've gained some valuable tools for my own meditation practice and the practices that I share with my family, friends, and community. See, meditation is often misperceived, I've found, as this practice of silencing the mind. People often say, I can't meditate, I have too many thoughts. And in actuality, it's just a practice that allows you to weave silence and stillness into your mind and body. So in between our thoughts, creating more space, which then creates more peace, more compassion, and more groundedness as we go out through our day. Let's see, for the Sangha community inspiration, this last year I've participated in 3 of Dr. Joe's Walk for the World. And their first one was the first international walking meditation with 140,000 people from 167 countries around the world. And the intention of the walking meditation is to walk as it. So Dr. Joe says the more we change, the more we demonstrate change, the more we raise the frequency in our world. And it's also another great example of how when we change, the whole changes. When we change ourselves, we do in fact change the world. HeartMath Institute was able to use their sensors around the world and discovered the data they collected showing real change in the Earth's electromagnetic field. Here's what Nachum Planka, the principal data scientist at HeartMath Institute, said. When so many people come together in a meditation, they raise the global energy. There is a large coherent group, and they in turn affecting the global coherence of humanity. And so with that, I'd like to invite you to come together in Sangha and meditation. So we're going to start by centering ourselves with some coherence breath, and then I'll lead us in a guided meditation. Just going to take a quick sip of water. Got a bit of a cold this week. Thanks for bearing with me. So come into a comfortable, steady seat, whether you're on the floor or sitting in a chair like me. The important part is that you're comfortable and have an upright posture. And if you're not in a place where you can meditate right now, you can always pause and come back to this later. Okay, so we're sitting comfortably tall, spine is upright, but not rigid. Let's place one hand to our heart, one hand to our belly. Close your eyes. And just take a moment here to connect with your heart center and connect with our global community here for this Peace Summit. Connecting as a whole synergizes and elevates the frequency. And connecting to our heart center, feeling the peaceful presence. We'll go ahead and take a few rounds of coherence breath. So when we breathe in coherence, we inhale for 4 through the nose, and we exhale through 6, also through the nose. And this is a really powerful practice you can do and right it before you meditate. It helps you to calm your nervous system, lowers the heart rate variability and blood pressure, and helps you come into a balanced, more peaceful state before you meditate. Okay, so we're going to inhale for 4 together and exhale for 6. Inhale for 4, and comes out into the belly. Exhale for 6. Belly comes back into the spine. Go ahead and repeat this on your own for a few times. I'll let you know when time to stop. On your next inhale, go ahead and return your breathing to normal. You can bring your hands to your lap, palms facing up. And just take a moment to connect with yourself here. See if you can feel if you released any tension. You feel a little lighter, more present after the coherence breath. Breathe and be fully present behind your eyes. And see if you can connect to the earth energy. Earth energy is both stabilizing and grounding. Now I want you to imagine you're going to be walking along a path. And right next to you is a backpack. You're going to pick up the backpack and put it on. Inside that backpack, you can place all of your current worries, fears, limiting beliefs, anything that you're ready to let go of, anything that you're ready to release to create more inner peace. When you're ready, we're going to stop walking at the edge of the path, where the path meets the beach down towards the ocean. And if you have anything left in your backpack, go ahead and set it down with the backpack and let it release fully. Leaving the backpack along the path with all those worries you let go of. I want you to feel into yourself and see if you've freed up any space. Do you feel lighter? Do you feel more peaceful? Do you feel more present? We're going to step out onto the beach, sandy beach, warm on our toes. And as we walk toward the ocean, we'll look at the waves crashing along the shore. And connecting to those waves, feeling a connection with everyone around us. Seeing each of those individual waves and ripples folding back into the ocean, together as one. When we change, the whole changes. When we change ourselves, we inspire change around us. Keeping your eyes closed and coming back to the space you're in. I will close with a chant for enlightenment. Om Masato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Lead us from untruths to the eternal truth. Lead us from darkness to light. Lead us from mortality to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. If you'd like to join me in the metta prayer, you can bring your hands out in front of you, palms facing forward, and we will collectively send love, light, and peace out into the world. And if you are in need of some of these healing today, please receive these blessings of peace, love, and light. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be happy. May all beings be safe. May all beings awaken to the light of their true nature. May all beings be free. If you'd like, bring your palms together at your heart center, the Anahata chakra, and take a moment of gratitude for your practice today. Namaste. In closing, I hope that I have planted a seed of inspiration in each of you that will go bigger and brighter and blossom out into your own communities. My hope is that you understand that when you shine your own light, it not only brightens yours, but also enhances the collective light of humanity. It's been a pleasure to connect with you here today as part of the Peace Summit and Peace Meditation. I hope I have inspired some inner peace. And you can find me on Instagram or my website at Tara's Wellness Garden. Namaste and be well.
Yeah. Thank you, Tara. Thank you for that beautiful meditation. And thank you, Nee, for being here as my wonderful co-host today. I appreciate you. I know these are long days, and I appreciate you. I can see that the light is dimming there in Barcelona. Yeah. So thank you. Thank you for being here with me.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And I hope that those here who are watching have enjoyed Tara's meditation just now. This was filmed, I think it was actually this morning or last night. While Tara has a cold, she was able to communicate these beautiful principles from Gandhi of being the change that you want to see in the world. As she said, Gandhi's quote is a little bit more in depth than that, but that's really what it's about, right? Like when we change, the world changes because we are the world, and every person that changes is literally changing the world. So yeah, I find that to be a very empowering and powerful principle. Nee, what do you think about that?
Yeah, it was really beautiful. My favorite part definitely was putting everything into the backpack, our baggage, and it was a very I found like real experience when you're when you're really dropping into that space. You can actually feel yourself walking in there. It was really beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. So I want to go now to Brett Cotter's meditation, also filmed yesterday as part of our Peace Summit. And before we started, I want to introduce Brett so that people understand who he is and why he's bringing what he's bringing to this summit. Brett is a trauma expert who has been doing retreats with people and workshops with people, traumatized groups, veterans, traumatized children in the foster care system. He worked at Sandy Hook after the massacre there. He has been doing this type of trauma work for 25 years, and he has some really powerful stories to share with us that can help us to understand how we can bring healing into traumatized populations, not just within ourselves, but within our communities. He's going in this upcoming meditation. He's going to start out by telling stories about how he's used these techniques in communities like between Bloods and Crips. Those are two warring gangs in the United States, to bring community to them, to bring them together. And between Democrats and Republicans who were fighting with each other, to bring them to understand that they both share the same deepest desires and needs and pains. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Brett onto the screen here, and we will enjoy his stories and also this meditation for releasing trauma.
I was the first person at Family and Children's in Hempstead, Long Island, to do an anger management workshop that had Bloods and Crips in it. So these were kids that were also in the foster care system, multiply traumatized teens in the foster care system. I used music. I used hip hop. I actually used to be a breakdancer, so I actually, this was funny, I actually dove into windmills. The kids jumped up, and then I asked who has bars, who could rap. And a few of them started rapping. We were playing Gangstar, Public Enemy, some Run DMC. We were playing some older stuff. I think we played a little bit of Wu-Tang. And the kids had a blast. And that just kind of like blew the doors off. So now they walked into something, and it was totally for them. And it was like nothing else they walked in on, right? They thought they were just going into an anger management workshop. So then we sat down, and I started going through the Stress Is Gone method. And pretty soon, we began to see that no matter what side of the room they were on, they all shared the same pain. And it ran really deep. It was usually around neglect, abuse, and feeling unloved. After that class, there was a guy named Keith and a guy named Michael, and they were talking in the parking lot. And one was a Blood and one was a Crip, and that was the first time this organization ever seen them speaking. And they were just like kicking it in the parking lot, just like two 16-year-old kids, you know, from the same neighborhood. And then there was another Zoom. There was a Zoom I was doing, and this was when like the political scene in our country was just boiling over, going crazy. So I knew it was just a matter of time before I was going to have a, you know, staunch Democrat and a staunch Republican, both in one of my Zooms, because they were so pissed off over politics. And it happened pretty quick. And the cool thing was, it was just the two of them. So it was the three of us. So one guy just goes off, right? I'm doing the stress assessment part, and it's all projection on the other political party, all the anger, all the talking points from all the news channels, like perfectly recited, perfectly programmed in there. And then the other guy jumps in. So I just called, I let him vent for a little bit, and I just called a timeout. And I asked him a few questions. I asked the one guy a few questions first, and then it unearthed his childhood pain, his childhood heartache that was fueling all the anger that the puppet masters have manipulated all of us to feel. Okay? You know, when they say, you got to be angry at this guy and you should be angry at that guy, they are toying with our emotions and our trauma. So once I did some of the assessment and the core trauma came up from the guy's childhood when he was about 7 or 8 years old, the other guy was just in awe, and he got teary because he had similar trauma. It is the pain below all of our opinions. It is the pain deep in the subconscious that if we could all just pick the lock to the subconscious by asking, what am I truly afraid of? What's my biggest fear about that? What's the worst case scenario about that fear? Now all your subconscious fears are on the surface. Now we can find some common ground, because most of us have the same deeper fears. Most of us have the same deeper pain. And we're just fighting to get our needs met. We're trying to survive. And it's no one's fault. When we take a body, our souls inherit hundreds, if not thousands of years of karma and trauma. Stress, anger, sorrow, sadness. It's not just from this lifetime. We're all going through it from our own perspective. And deep down, there is a similar string of pain. Fear of being unloved, unworthy, abandoned, fear of death, right? If we could break through all the chatter and get to what really matters, then we have a shot. So another complexity to this is the fact that science tells us we have between 12,000 and 60,000 thoughts every freaking day. Now, 75% of those thoughts are negative. This is the tough part. 95% of those negative thoughts are repeating from yesterday. We're literally trapped and we're on a treadmill. It is like Groundhog Day. The ego is so scared, it feels the best way to survive is by repeating yesterday. So how do we break through? We pick the lock to the subconscious. We express our fears. We breathe into the tension and release the old pain from our cellular memory. Wherever that pain is coming from, this lifetime, another lifetime, our grandparents, their ancestors. It doesn't matter. Stress is everywhere. It's in the media. It's in our culture. It's in our race. It's in the battle of the sexes. It's in the battle between the socioeconomic status, right? Everything is battling. Every group is battling to survive. So the only way we can break through it is to identify the stress that's inside of you, embrace it with our touch, start breathing right through the tension in the body. And we're doing this when we get triggered. We're doing this when our spouse triggers us, when our kids trigger us, when our boss triggers us, when the news triggers us. Well, we shouldn't be watching the news anyway, because it's literally like putting your finger in a stress outlet. So if you want to get stressed and have your heart rate elevated, watch the news. So whatever's triggering us, we are touching the tension, breathing into the tightness, allowing that breath to unwind the tension. Once it starts to get bigger and bigger, then we start expressing our emotions. Express everything. Right now, I feel this tension in my heart. It feels like sadness and panic. It was triggered by my Aunt Sally. And it might be related to my ex-girlfriend. And then before that, it might be stemming from my mom, right? You just go in a stream of consciousness and you're just expressing everything you're feeling. And what's going to happen is layers of that emotion are going to start to unlock and release and lift off of your body. That's right. I said lift off of your body. That's what's going to happen when you start to express your emotions in this way. And then you start asking yourself, what's my biggest fear about that? And then what's the worst case scenario of that fear? Now that layer, that's a subconscious layer. And then you express your feelings about that. Now you're peeling back the onion, baby. And when you unlock and release all the emotional tension and you've completely emptied the tank, guess what you're left with? You. You can breathe and receive and expand your own divine essence from deep inside you and invite it into that space where all those heavy emotions were sitting for so long, for decades. Letting the true you expand, that infinite breath, in and out, expanding, unlocking and releasing old pain. 90% of what you are manifesting in your life is coming from the unconscious. 10% of what's in your life are conscious creations. The things you made a clear decision, you put them in there, right? All the other stress in your life, that's unconscious, repressed stress manifesting in reality because it's inside your body and in the back of your psyche. As you release those old layers, you take off those old shades, those old identities, those old ideas of how unsafe you were in the world. As you let go of more and more fear, more of your spirit comes into your body so you can live with authenticity. So that is really the key. Understanding that in every single moment, the emotions that you are experiencing and the thoughts in your mind are throwing paint on the canvas of the next moment. We must own that we are creators of our own reality. When we own that, we don't blame half of the country. We don't blame a president that we never met and will probably never see in person. We don't blame anybody. We don't blame our spouse. We don't blame our parents. We take responsibility, right? To embrace all, if you want to call it negativity that we have inside our body and our thoughts and our emotions, all the heaviness, all the sadness. To me, it's not negative or positive. It all is. Whatever the tension is, I embrace it, I breathe into it, I expand it. To me, there's two forces in the universe: constriction and expansion. Love is expansion. The good news is the universe is expanding. That's why love will always win in the end. It's in alignment with the universe. That's why love feels so freaking good, because it is in alignment with the universe. The illusion is, whenever we felt love, usually we were looking at someone that we thought we loved. That person was reflecting something that brought out the feeling from within us. The love was always right here. The sweetness is always right here. That's part of you. So what I would like to do is a short meditation just to let go of maybe some of the old programming and some of the old things that we inherited to get to a place where we can unconditionally love ourselves. So right now, I invite you to get really comfortable, ideally lying down on your back, placing one hand on your heart and your other hand on your belly button. Closing your eyes if you're ready. Focusing your mind on following the airflow as you breathe deep and slow. Identifying any areas of tension inside your body, embracing it with your breath, breathing right into it, allowing the airflow to move through it. Allowing the tension to gently begin to unlock and release. Unwinding, unfolding. Breathing freely right through where the tension was in your body. Opening softly. Allowing the airflow to soak in a little deeper as you breathe even slower. Embracing that emotional layer with the life force that's in every breath. Allowing your cells to saturate with life force. Breathing and receiving. Directly from source. Allowing the connection to expand throughout your body. Releasing old tension. That you absorbed from your family. Breathing deep and slow. Allowing that old tension to gently let go. Embracing the pain and the old emotion. Any old sadness with the infinite life force in your breath. Right now. Breathing deep and slow, allowing air flow to soak in even further. Releasing the roles and the emotional imprint from the household you grew up in. Breathing and receiving. Warm waves of the eternal breath. Cutting all the cords, breaking all the chains. Rewriting your agreements. To best serve living your highest path. And the greatest good for all life involved. Breathing and receiving beautiful warm waves of unconditional love. Anchoring in the energy and sweetness you are made of. Always remembering I am free to be me. My life is my reality. I give myself permission to awaken my destiny. I awaken the new matrix of love, peace, and sweetness in and all around me. I breathe and receive for eternity. And you can start wiggling your fingers and your toes, your ankles and your wrists, your knees and your elbows, your shoulders and your neck. And open up your eyes when you're ready. So thank you so much for being here with me. It was a true honor to be with you and for sharing this moment with you. If you'd like to reach out and connect, my website is stressisgone.com. God bless. Much love. Have a great day.
Well, thank you, Brett, for that beautiful meditation. And yeah, thank you, Nee, for practicing alongside us, alongside me and Brett, all of us together. So how did that feel for you? What was please, people can comment in the comments, like how did this meditation feel for you? What did it make you feel?
I feel so light. I was actually kind of falling asleep because his voice is so relaxing. It was really, really powerful meditation. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I just reduced background noise on your mic because I think there's maybe some music in the background that was interfering with it. Yes, strong imagery from childhood. Yeah, very powerful meditation for just from people's comments here that people are experiencing these things. That basically it gets you in touch with these past traumas that we experience, past imprints on our psyches, as Brett puts it. And all of this stuff goes into our unconscious minds, and then I love the way he puts it, throws paint on the next moment, on the canvas of the next moment. And it really does. All these things that have happened in the past are continuously coming back to us. And when he talked about karma, thousands of years of karma building up, and that all this stress and sadness and all that stuff is not just from this lifetime. And I think a lot of people in like the United States, I think our community kind of gets this, but I think a lot of people in the United States and Western world, like they think that that's some woo woo stuff. But I'll be like, I used to think that too. And the truth is, it's really all of these things that people do over the course of millennia, over the course of centuries, that humans do, that other iterations of consciousness do, that are outside of this iteration of consciousness. All these people are sometimes doing violent things, sometimes doing peaceful things, sometimes spreading love, sometimes spreading hate in the generations before we were born, in our families, in our ancestors, in the people around us, in the people in other countries. All of these things create the reality that we live in. Like they all create this energy of happiness or sadness or love or hate or anxiety or peace. And it's all together. It's all of us are creating these ripples of consciousness, of experience, of existence, of emotions.
Yes.
And yeah, so it's not some woo thing of like, oh, like you inherited this because there's some like supernatural thing that's bringing you these feelings. It's real. It's natural.
Yeah, it's epigenetics, right? There's studies on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. There's epigenetics. It's like on that level of our genes, and it's also just on the level of the society. Like if I go outside in a place like in the Middle East, like where people are fighting and suffering, and in Israel and Palestine right now, if you go outside in Gaza right now, like you're not going to be able to just walk around in peace and happiness, like because of the karma of other people and of the consciousness of people playing out over generations. It's so clear and so obvious, but sometimes it's easy to miss that we are not just our own system of happiness and emotions. We're all interconnected in our happiness, in our emotions, in our peace. We're all like fundamentally interconnected. Yeah.
Yeah, we're all like, I guess, helping each other clear each other's karma in some way as well when you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we're doing our best here at Meditation Magazine and Meditation University. Oh, I should mention, everybody that we're featuring here, all the meditation teachers. Nee is a Meditation Magazine author and Meditation University teacher. So is Brett Cotter. Both are teaching in our meditation teacher training. Upcoming meditation coming from Kimberly Snyder, who is also a Meditation Magazine author, is a really powerful one coming up right now that Kimberly is going to lead us through more heart coherence, getting in touch with our hearts, allowing ourselves to have coherence between our hearts and our brains, our minds, and our nervous systems, so that we can really tap into the energy of love and healing and compassion and oneness and unity rather than division. And, our minds, we call them, they're analytical, right? Our minds are analytical. And we think of this as a positive thing. Sometimes it's very important and useful to have analytical mind. But analysis really means like breaking things apart. That's what the word means, like in Latin, that you're breaking things apart and separating things. And that's what our minds do. It separates things. It creates separation. It separates us from the universe around us and the people around us. So that's why it's so important for us to shift from approaching peace and love and the people around us only with our minds. We need to shift it as much as we can into our hearts, because that is where we'll find true connection, true peace, true unity and oneness of all conscious beings. So we're about to go into this heart meditation with Kimberly Snyder. And Nee, do you have any last words before we go into this meditation?
No, I'm excited to start.
Yes. So this was also recorded yesterday or the day before yesterday as part of our Peace Summit. And I hope that you enjoy it.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to our talk today on the power of heart-based living and the power of the heart to overcome the ego and forge a path forward to peace and unity right here, right now. So I'm very excited to be with you and to focus on the power of the heart today, which has been the focus of my work for the last few years and will be the focus for my next few books. So today in the talk, I'm going to give you a little bit of background on heart intelligence and the power of the heart. We're going to be talking about the intersection of different spiritual traditions, cultural traditions, and how the heart has played a central role. We're going to be talking about the science behind heart coherence, which is a way of harnessing heart intelligence and the power of the heart. And then I'm going to take you through the heart aligned meditation, which is an evidence-based practice that has been shown to increase heart coherence 29% in as little as 4 weeks. So this is an amazing meditation that I created, and along with the Heart Math Institute, which has been studying the communication between the heart and the brain for over 30 years. And we did this study with them here in Los Angeles with over 30 participants. So this is a very powerful meditation that can be done in as little as 5 to 8 minutes. And this will help you to turn in and access this incredible potential within your own heart to expand out, to see bigger win-win solutions. And the more of us that come into the power of the heart, the more of us will start to feel this real deepening of peace and unity within each of us. And then we can start to create more of that on the planet. It really starts with us, one heart at a time. So I'm so excited that you are here watching this or listening to this, wherever you are. It is such an important time, as you know, for all of us to come together in peace. We need to be part of this rising energy of unity, because we know what it's like when the world and societies become more egoic and more fragmented and more separated. So a little bit of a background on me and why I'm so passionate about the heart. I am an author. I have authored 6 previous books, including, which you'll see behind me, Radical Beauty, which I co-authored with Deepak Chopra. Several of my books have become New York Times bestsellers, and I've always been really grateful to put out messages and ideas which I believe will help the most. I think we're here to share with one another and to help each other grow and evolve. So a few years ago, I started being really called to the heart in my research. And what I found was this incredible significance of the heart that has been there for centuries, but only in the last, let's say 100, 150 years, has there been a real emphasis shifting over to the brain. We see that today with nootropics and a lot of emphasis on neuroscience. And it's not that the brain isn't important, but we need to understand that there is a deep, deep intelligence in the heart, which has this ability to forge bridges and create unity, whereas the brain and the mind can usually can actually see things in a more separatist way, and it's more linear and step by step, whereas the heart has this ability to create incredible solutions that the mind could never get to alone. I was really inspired by the work, really inspired by the research. So I actually have a children's book, which is coming out in just a few weeks, called Chilla Gorilla and Lanky Lemur, Journey to the Heart. And it's about teaching kids and families teachings on heart-based living and evidence-based practices to open the heart. So please check that out if you have children or if you know anyone that does, because it's a really practical way to start more peace and love in the family life. I also have an adult book coming out in September called The Hidden Power of the 5 Hearts, which will dive much deeper into this topic around 5 stages of opening the heart spiritually, and also that correspond to the science of heart coherence, which we will get into in just a moment, going from incoherence, which is where a lot of violence and separation, indignities against humanity that we see today, where the heart is, the communication to the heart is closed off, all the way to heart-brain harmony, known as the clear heart, where we become transcendent and clear to the universal heart, the greater intelligence that connects all of us. So look out for those books, please, where I can dive much, much deeper and give you a lot more evidence-based tools and teachings around the importance of the heart. So let's dive in. I'm going to give you, again, a little bit of information here. I want to give you some takeaways. The most important takeaway is being able to practice the heart aligned meditation, which we'll do at the end of our talk today in just a few moments, which again, we did a formal research study on and found that it increased heart coherence 29%. So this is huge. So the first thing we'll talk about is the power of the heart, and from a spiritual and energetic perspective. Even in the time of the Babylonians and the ancient Egyptians, there was a lot of talk around the heart. In fact, when the Egyptians mummified bodies, they did not remove the heart. They believed that the heart needed to remain and would travel with the soul. So unlike the brain, which was pulled out through the nose and put in different jars, the heart was considered an inextricable part of our core self. And if you look back at all world religions, there's actually a deep emphasis on the heart. And we see this through the Sacred Heart of Jesus Christ, the emphasis of the Anahata Chakra in the Hindu yogic Vedic scriptures, the emphasis on the Heart Sutra in Buddhism, the word qalb, which translates to heart, being used approximately 132 times in the Muslim Quran, and lev, the word for heart, being also used in the Hebrew Judaic Torah. So all traditions have had this real emphasis on the power of the heart. And this is something that we really want to note, that this wasn't just happening through one pathway or through one particular sect. Worldwide, there was this convergence of knowledge and wisdom saying, hey, there's something really powerful in the heart, and we need to harness this and take advantage of it. And as I mentioned, modern society has moved away from the heart in many ways. We've gotten really fast paced. We take in a lot of information. We can read a lot or talk a lot or hear movies and screens. And a lot of this can take away, if it gets overemphasized in society, from the more subtle messages that come from the heart. So from a scientific perspective, the heart actually is another brain. We hear a lot about the gut-brain axis, and that the gut also has neurotransmitters and the vagus nerve, which connects the gut and the brain essentially. So we know that there are other intelligence centers in the body. But what a lot of people don't realize is that there are 40,000 neurons in the heart, and the heart actually sends more messages to the brain than vice versa. So when we are looking to change society, which is the focus of what we're talking about here, when we're looking to create more peace, we need to go beyond the limits of egoic thinking, which frames things as right, wrong, this side, that side, victim mindset, just putting things into different boxes and seeing things in a black and white way. This is the power of the heart to expand out and see far more solutions than the mind could ever see. But if we overemphasize the brain and the mind, what happens is, again, the heart's power does not get turned on. So one of the ways that science has measured how we can actually start to take advantage of this intelligence in the heart is starting to create, not just track, but actually train and increase heart coherence. Heart coherence is basically the syncing up of communication between your heart, your brain, and your nervous system. And those of us that study yoga and Vedic scripture know that the nervous system is our way of interacting in the world. In fact, Paramahansa Yogananda says that if you can manage your nervous system, you can create success in any endeavor. So our nervous system is a key part of this, because our nervous system is what keeps us from living a peaceful existence. And I mean that on an individual and a collective scale. It is the nervous system that reacts to triggers and past traumas and has a strong emotional response to something that may come up and say, I will never create peace with that person. I will never find a way. This happened, right? The amygdala, the brain, holds the emotional significance of past events. Whereas when we create coherence and we go into the heart, which is what we're going to do in just a moment in our heart aligned meditation, we can actually start to shift the thoughts that we're thinking from the heart's power. So the problem, and one of the reasons I think that we are not seeing great success in creating peace in the world right now, is because there's a lot of that mental heady approach, talking, pro cons list. It's easy to see on paper why, this should not have happened, and this group against that group. And we get caught up in all those factual surface details, and it becomes almost impossible to see a way through. But yet when we come into the heart and we shift down energetically, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, we start to open up the door, this gateway into the true self, into the power of who we are, into the universal heart, and into more oneness. The truth that we're all connected, the truth that once we experience one heart at a time, we could never hurt another. We could never, turn a blind eye to the suffering of others. We care about all of us as brothers and sisters in humanity, because we start to feel and experience that depth in our hearts, which does not allow us to become cold-hearted. We actually start to activate the warmth in our heart. As we start to access more of our heart's power through heart coherence, the other thing that happens is that we start to create more deeper and more wisdom and deeper emotional intelligence. So emotional intelligence was studied, became popular in the 1990s because it was measured to show a higher rate of success than IQ. So when we are more emotionally intelligent, it means we are more self-aware, we are more aware of others' emotions, we are better able to maintain healthy relationships, we are better able to self-manage. So from a peace perspective, the more emotional intelligence we have, the more we are able to find solutions, to find higher ways to communicate, to say, hey, this is what your opinion is, this is what I was thinking. How can we make this win-win? Again, instead of ego's way, which is right, wrong, my way or the highway, you're completely wrong, I will never see your way, right? So then we see that fragmentation and that division. So this is even able to be witnessed on HRV monitors. Now you may see people wearing Oura Ring or Whoop or Apple Watches, which are measuring your HRV, which is an indicator of good health. If you see the emotional state, which has been measured and will be in my next book, The Hidden Power of the Five Hearts, you see when someone's angry, the pattern is very irregular and it is very chaotic and it is very jagged. Contrasted with when someone is in appreciation, for instance, which is a heart-based emotion, which creates that deepening of coherence. It creates a calmness, and this actually starts to change your rhythms in your body, including your HRV pattern. It changes your brain waves. It changes your breath pattern, because the heart is actually the main biological oscillator in the body. The heart is actually the main rhythm setter in the body. So we see that as we start to access more of these calmer emotions, we start to create that better communication. We start to have more peace as the outcome. And as we do these evidence-based practices, we're able to create that coherence, increase our emotional intelligence. So everything starts to work together. The other big aspect, or there's many aspects of coherence and, really harnessing this power of the heart. So there's the physical benefits, and then there's the emotional intelligence benefits, and then there's the energetic or the spiritual benefits. So let's talk about some of the physical benefits for a moment. As I mentioned, we start to feel more calm. And when we are in these heart-based emotions and we are in higher coherence, again, which we will do in just a moment in the heart aligned meditation, our hormones actually start to balance. Why is this important for peace? Well, for one thing, the Heart Math Institute has measured that doing heart-based practices like the heart aligned meditation for 30 days showed a 23% reduction in cortisol production. Cortisol is that stress hormone of fight or flight. It means we're more triggered, we're more reactive, we are more irritated, we can become more agitated. And of course, none of these are conducive to creating peaceful solutions and creating more harmony. When there is disharmony in our bodies, we tend to project that disharmony out in the world and how we see the world. It colors our perspective. Heart coherence is this internal harmonizing of our systems that also creates us being able to see more for the perspective or more harmony and peace out in the world and out in all these different outcomes. So it's very, very powerful. And physically, we can have many more benefits, including the hormones, as I mentioned, including less wear and tear on our organs. Peace is healthy. Now, from the other side, spiritually, when we tap into the heart, the energetic heart, we're not just talking about the physical heart. As I mentioned earlier, this is considered a gateway, a primary chakra, the Anahata chakra, to connect us to our true self. Why is this important for peace? Because the true self is this energy that runs through all things, running through you and me and everything that we see. So when we tap into this universal energy, then we cannot, the more we do that, the more we realize we cannot create harm. We cannot hurt ourselves, because that is what is happening when there is violence or anger or all these different ways in which fragmentation manifests in society when there is disharmony and aggression between different groups. So what we really need to do instead is to tap into the truth of our nature, which is this expanded, beautiful oneness, this high intelligence. The highest intelligence of all is love. So the more we come into heart-based living, which means to come into our heart's power, which we do through these evidence-based practices and these spiritual practices, the more we turn on and activate the heart. That means the more we are speaking from our heart, we are living from our heart, we are making decisions from our heart, we are acting, walking around as embodiments of this high intelligence of love, care, peace, and compassion. And we cannot turn that off. This is who we are every single day of the week. So that is why we really get to peaceful resolution, one heart at a time. It's not just going to be, through a big group all at once, or country all at once, or government. But the more of us come into this coherent heart resonance, the more the power of the heart will start to grow on the planet. And the more that vibration will start to affect others. Another aspect of heart, the power of the heart, is that everything, as many of us watching this know, is energy. And the power of the heart actually creates an electromagnetic field that is measurable by scientific instruments called magnetometers. And it is 100 times more powerful than the field of the brain. So as we start to become more coherent, there is a strength to this literal field that can be measured, and it creates more of this powerful, magnetic, coherent, harmonious field that has the ability to shift people around you. Isn't that exciting? So it means just by us being more coherent, we can have a very powerful effect on the world, starting with the circles around us. This means peace and harmony starts to grow in your family life. It starts to grow in your workplace, in your groups, in your neighborhood, when you interact with your parents, with the parents at your kids' school, or wherever you happen to be. We start to realize we are all vessels that can embody the power of the heart. And once again, from the bottom of my heart and my family's heart, I'm so excited to share Chilla Gorilla and Lanky Lemur Journey to the Heart with you, which is such a powerful tool. Children's books are, and this children's book teaches heart coherence for you and your little ones, because when we started turning on heart coherence, I noticed so much more peace in my family, so much deeper connection, ability to navigate big feelings, to help my children feel calmer after having tantrums, and just big feelings to wash through, and to teach each of us and our little ones that the anchor is to be found in the heart. There's always a safe anchor inside of each and every single one of us. So please check that out as well as another tool that can really support you beyond this conference. So this field, as I mentioned, is something that can be shifted moment to moment, day to day, based on our emotional state. So another part about the heart that I want to touch on is that sometimes we equate erratic emotions with the heart, like frustration or jealousy or anger, or rage. But actually, the heart is very calm and very peaceful. These erratic emotions are of the ego. And the ego starts to see things as separated, this, or yours or mine. I need to hoard, I need to self-preserve, I need this to be for me. And so it starts to create that division and separation, which then leads to violence, disharmony, and a lack of peace. So we can trust the heart once we learn to tap into it, which we build over time when we learn to listen and discern the messages of the heart versus the messages of the ego. So the heart-based emotions are expansive and connecting. The heart-based emotions are peace, naturally love, care, compassion, and appreciation. So the more we come into heart intelligence, we have this ability to digest and process and release anger and again, fragmentation and irritation before it has a harmful effect on our bodies and before we project it out and harm our brothers and sisters. So the power of heart-based living means that more and more each of us chooses to rise up into greater coherence. And the more we do this, the more we come into the power of the heart, and the more that society will become peaceful, one heart at a time. So now you've been you've been listening to me talk about increasing heart coherence, tapping into the power of the heart. So very naturally we say, how do we do this? So there are a lot of more evidence-based practices that I will be sharing with you in my September adult book, The Hidden Power of the Five Hearts, that you can do in the middle of life. And these are based on hundreds of research papers, including published in the American Journal of Cardiology and so on and so forth. But for today, I want to teach you the heart aligned meditation, which is a very different type of meditation that you may be used to practicing, one where we may be focusing on the third eye or mantras or all different types. There's many different paths up the mountain. This meditation, as I mentioned, combines some of Paramahansa Yogananda's techniques and also research from the Heart Math Institute. So it is the combination of spirituality and science. Now, if you are not aware, Yogananda was the great yoga guru who brought yoga to the West. So as I mentioned, my team at my company, Saluna, and Heart Math partnered together, and we did a formal research study where we measured participants and with the special M-Wave Pro, the professional equipment from Heart Math. We brought them all in person. And then they went off for 4 weeks and they did this meditation 4 to 5 times a week. We did it together as a group once a week. They did the meditation, and after 4 weeks, we measured everyone again. And there was a 29% increase in coherence, meaning this ability to come into a coherent state. There was also a 10% increase in coherence resting baseline levels. So this means just walking around in the world, sitting at the bus stop, or staring off into space, or being in the shower. Coherence was up 10% across the board. This was only after 4 weeks. So what that means is your body is more in sync. You have more emotional intelligence. There's more hormonal balance. You have this ability to be more clear thinking and focused and be able to find wider, more expansive solutions. So this is very, very powerful. And again, we're going to get to peace one heart at a time, because the more coherent we are, the more peaceful we naturally become. So we'll practice now together. And you can come back to this at any time. You can also go over to my website, which is mysaluna.com, where we will be putting up meditation tracks for this heart aligned meditation. There are already family-friendly children's meditation tracks of Heart Align if you would like to do this with your kids, which is going along with the Chilla Gorilla and Lanky Lemur Journey to the Heart book, which is coming now in just a few weeks. So all the tracks are available and free on there. You can check them out as well. So to do that, and I'll talk you through some of the science as we're going along, but let's drop into the meditation now. You can go ahead and take a comfortable seat wherever you happen to be. You can lift your hips with your meditation cushion, or if you want, you can shift into your normal meditation space. But one of the main benefits of Heart Align, this practice and also the others, is that we don't have to sequester ourselves away always to feel this peace, right? Because many of us feel peace in meditation and then it's elusive in busy life. We can feel the power of our heart and heart-based living rising up right here, right now in our lives. So go ahead and close your eyes, lift your spine, and then notice if there's any tension. You can give your shoulders a little shake. Just naturally sort of align your body. I like to do a few shoulder rolls. Maybe you can tense your whole body and release. This is something that Yogananda taught, to release any tightness and tension and rigidity in the body, which allows more heart coherence to rise. You can tighten your hands into fists and then release them. And then once you feel settled in, go ahead and shift your focus to your heart. It can be right in the center of your chest. You can even take your hands and place them one over the other on top of your heart. Or you can simply shift your awareness. Now this is to your physical and your energetic spiritual heart. This shift alone was shown in research published in the American Journal of Cardiology to help you start rewiring your nervous system, which will change your thoughts. It will create more peaceful perceptions. Now, keeping your focus on your heart, I want you to recall someone or something that makes you feel appreciation. So the energy of appreciation is really a blend of gratitude and approval, thankfulness, and awe. And it feels expansive. These heart-based emotions are expansive, and they have been shown in research to help create coherence, that inner harmony. Now, appreciation is easier in many ways to access than going straight to peace or love, sometimes if we're feeling a bit agitated or anxious. So right now we're going to go into appreciation. Now, once you can recall someone or something that makes you feel appreciation, focus on the feeling right in the center of your heart and drop that visualization of that person. So this is not a visualization exercise. This is just bringing to mind someone that can really help you harness that feeling, that energy. And we're going to sustain it here for another moment or two. Now, if it drops, just recall that person or that past event or beautiful sunset, your friend, your mom, your sibling, whatever it is, and then focus on the feeling. Keep sustaining it. This is actually shifting your coherence right here, right now. Just another moment. Imagine you're taking some deep breaths in and out of your heart, slowing everything down and staying in this state of appreciation. And now you can keep your eyes closed. You can bring your hands into Anjali Mudra or prayer pose in front of your heart. Take a moment to thank your amazing, all-powerful, intelligent heart for teaching you the ways of love, of peace, of unity, and for always being there for you. Om. And gently float your eyes open when you're ready, or you can keep them closed. So this was a little tasting of the Heart Aligned meditation. If you listen to the tracks over on my website, again, mysaluna.com, we pair the tracks with music. So it's much easier to do the heart-based breathing in and out of your heart and to feel that appreciation building. And remember, this is researched in science. It feels good, but it's also evidence-based. It means you are becoming more coherent, more harmonious through all your bodily systems, but especially between the communication, your heart, your brain, and your nervous system. This again means less reactivity, more peaceful responses, higher intelligence, being able to access more emotional intelligence and more expansive win-win solutions. So this is a very powerful meditation to change and shift your entire resonance, your entire energy. And research has shown, Heart Math showed that there was greater success at work in certain corporations that they taught this to. They were working with the IRS and the Navy and BMW and so many different corporations. And they found that this actually created more success in the workplace because there's better communication. So our objective here is to create more peace in the world as our, the success and this abundance, this flow, which is so possible. And so we do that one heart at a time. And one heart at a time means not in a sentimental, romantic way, but actually tapping into this incredible power inside of your heart and harnessing that power. This is the gateway to your true self, to this incredible, unlimited power inside of you, and bringing that through here to planet Earth so each of us can play the role that we are meant to play in forging more peace ahead, which means being in this resonance, this coherence, so that we can affect everyone around us. The peace will build the more of us that come into this resonance, one heart at a time. And from this peaceful place, may heart-based living rise up in you, which means speaking from your heart, being more kind and compassionate and peaceful in all your daily interactions, writing emails from your heart, interacting from your heart, even the short interactions with the barista at your coffee shop or the checkout person at your grocery store or whatever, and watch how together we will create a more beautiful, peaceful world, one heart at a time. So thank you so much for being with me for my talk. I'm so grateful to Meditation Magazine. And remember, I'm always here to support. So once again, I'll mention the Heart Aligned meditation tracks are going to be on mysoluna.com. That's mysoluna.com. Please keep in touch with me. I'm on social @ Kimberly Snyder. And the 2 books on this very topic of the heart, which I wrote from my heart to create more heart in the world. Again, Chilla Gorilla and Lanky Lemur, Journey to the Heart, our children's book out right now in May, and The Hidden Power of the 5 Hearts out in September, which you can also pre-order shortly. So thank you so much from my heart to yours, sending you much love and much peace.
Thank you, Kimberly, for that beautiful talk and meditation. Kimberly Snyder, the founder of Soluna, but New York Times bestselling author with a couple of really cool books coming out. What a powerful meditation, and what a powerful talk on just the power of the heart. I learned a lot from that talk, and honestly, just from talking to her about these things, realizing that peace, we can talk as much as we want, we can think about it as much as we want, we can analyze it as much as we want, but ultimately, for peace to come, we have to move from here to here. How did that feel for you, Nee?
Yeah, that was really, really beautiful. And yeah, just learned so much about the heart, as you say, during that time, like 40,000 neurons coming from the heart. Yeah, and I really love that, the heart is really being talked about more and more these days. Because like she said, this, a lot of focus has been on guts health, the gut brain, and then obviously the mind. But I think also through Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, he focuses on, a lot on the heart as well and the heart coherence. I've actually done the Heart Math Institute coherence training many years ago, and it was incredible. It really, really helped me deepen my meditation practice. And yeah, I really love that she did the studies with Heart Math and how that's in her new book and everything. Really,
Yeah.
really amazing.
Yeah, it's very powerful research and good work that they're doing. I want to ask for people in the audience, like, how did that heart talk feel to you? How did that meditation feel to you? And I'll just take a moment to write in the comments my own experience. You know, the appreciation when she was talking about who and bringing somebody to mind to appreciate. So I started with my mother because I appreciate her, but then it kind of shifted because I don't know. It was all about bringing the feeling of appreciation. It wasn't necessarily about the person. And I was just thinking like, who else can I feel appreciation for? And immediately I'm thinking about you, Nee, for being here, for helping to host this. I only contacted Nee about this a few days ago because I came in contact with somebody with the flu. I thought I might be sick today. And I was like, oh no, I need somebody to help me. And Nee just was like, yes, let's do it. And jumped in heroically. And these are long, these are hard to host. But she just took it upon herself on her shoulders. And she's been a wonderful co-host today. So I wanted to tell you thank you from my heart. And I was feeling appreciation for you, felt appreciation for Kimberly for bringing this beautiful meditation and for doing what she's doing in the world, because she's on this same path. We're all on the same path here. You, Nee, and I, and Kimberly, we're all doing this for, I think, the same reason. We're trying to help bring more love and happiness and light and peace into this world. So I felt that appreciation for her. And then also I'd like to let the audience know, the people that are still watching this, honestly, like, you are heroes. Like, you've been watching these talks for now 4 hours today, or more than 4 hours, 5 hours. Yeah, 5 hours. That's a long time to be watching these talks. It's a lot. It's a lot of heady stuff, spinning mind. It's a lot to think about, but and to be doing that, especially here, we're at day 2 now. We're at the end of day 2. We've done almost 10 hours of these live streams. I think more than 10 hours. And it's not like simple live streams. Imagine watching a movie, right? It's an hour and a half. That takes some stamina already, like, just to watch an enjoyable movie. I mean, I hope that you've enjoyed this Peace Summit, but it's heavy. It's not an easy watch. It's not something that's just like, ooh, beautiful music and nice visuals. It's like people talking for 10 hours. The people that are still here, that are still watching, are, to me, heroes of humanity, because you clearly are, first of all, have lots of stamina. Second of all, you are clearly very passionate about peace, about helping out in the world, being of service, spreading love in the world, and helping other people to feel happier, and to stopping people from suffering, helping people to rise out of suffering. I felt that appreciation for you, the people that are still watching this, for those reasons. And that was part of my experience of the meditation just now, of Kimberly's meditation. So thank you for that. And just to say, out of this appreciation, and also out of this recognition of who you are, the people that are still watching, because I can see who you are as a person is very much aligned with who I am, with who Nee is, with who Kimberly is, and all of the speakers today. That you who are still watching this are very much aligned with that. And the fact that you have the stamina, that you're still here, shows me that you're not only appreciating it, but that you are a participant, in bringing peace. And for that reason, I want to invite anybody who's still here. First, if you're interested in our meditation teacher training program, that's a big place where we help people to learn how to bring more peace in the world through meditation. So I encourage you, I'm going to put it in the chat, meditationuniversity.us/MTT. If you are interested in being a meditation teacher that helps bring more love and light and peace into the world, that you check out our MTT, and if it speaks to you, put in an application. Let us know in the application that you were one of those people that was here till the end of the Peace Summit. We do have a little bit more tomorrow, but like, this is pretty much the wrap up. That you were one of the people that was here till the end of the Peace Summit. That shows me that you are a good fit for that program, that you already are a really, it will work for you, and you will be perfect in the group as well. That, and also, if you don't feel like being a meditation teacher, or not interested in the teacher training, I invite you to talk to me. I'll put my Calendly, calendly.com, Kevin Ellerton. This, you can book a conversation with me, and I invite you to just book a Calendly conversation with me. It's 15 minutes. We can talk about what you want to do in the world and how you want to make a difference, and maybe we can collaborate in some way. Because I am like sincerely interested in whoever's here right now watching. I'm sincerely interested in talking to you and seeing how we can work together. So I guess that's that. Oh, and also don't forget the peace issue is coming out with the Dalai Lama, and which is pretty awesome. And Guru Dev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar. You should definitely check that out. Also, if you go to where you registered for this event, meditationmag.com/peace, at the top of the page now, there should be a link that you could order the peace issue in advance and get it for with free shipping. Usually we don't do free shipping on individual issues, but you can get that anywhere in the world. I think that's been set up. I think our developers were setting that up last night. I'm not sure if they set it up correctly, but you should check it out if you can. And if it's not working, let me know, and I'll do my best to make sure that you're able to get that with the free shipping. You can always email us at hello@meditationmag.com if you're interested in discussing or if you need any help. So with all that out of the way, I would like to wrap up here with Ni. Ni can guide us in a beautiful meditation too for peace, and she's been put on very short notice, kind of on the spot, but she's always up for something fun and something that's like a challenge. And I think she'll lead us in something very beautiful right now. So are you ready, Ni? And you can always introduce it with some words if you'd like as well.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm very excited to share meditation. But first of all, I just want to say I appreciate you so much, Kevin. And I'm sure I'm speaking on behalf of everybody who's been watching and who will watch these replays, that your capacity to create these spaces and to hold the space and facilitate it is just beyond, like, more than 10 hours so far, and it's just been incredible. That I just really want to celebrate you and congratulate you as well for just being such an incredible soul, human being, and creator of all of this. So thank you so much for having us all on here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for those kind words. I really appreciate it.
All right, so let's get into the meditation. So I invite you all just to settle into your space, make yourself nice and comfortable, and just gently close your eyes. And you can have your hands any way you feel comfortable. And bringing your awareness to your breath. And just notice the quality of air moving in through your nose and exhaling out through your mouth. Allowing each breath to soften you, to ground you, and to relax you. Now just bringing your awareness to your heart space. And just feel the pulsating rhythm of your heart. Now bringing peace into your heart. We've been on a really a beautiful, enlightening, empowering journey through the topic of peace the last 2 days. I want you just to notice, how does peace feel in your heart? How does peace feel in your body? And most importantly, what does peace mean to you? How would you like to see peace unfolding all around the planet? How can you share this feeling of peace with others in your life? What actions can you take to spread more peace into this world? But most importantly, how can you cultivate and nurture peace within yourself? Because it always begins with us. Let's take 3 deep breaths together, breathing in love, exhaling peace. Inhaling love, exhaling peace. Feel it spread far and wide. And one more time, breathing in love, exhaling peace. And let's bring our hands to our hearts in Namaste. May all beings be happy, free, and at peace. May peace prevail on earth. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you. Thank you, Ni. What a beautiful meditation to wrap up day 2 of Meditation Magazine's Peace Summit. We've been through a lot. Those who have been here for the whole time, we've been through powerful emotional conversations with mothers in Palestine and Israel who have lost children in the war, with Nonviolent Peace Force, talking about ways that we can bring peace through nonviolent means. We've been through conversations about Kashmir and about peaceful parenting and peace within, peace at home, peace starts at home. And these last couple of hours have been these beautiful meditations. And I think that that's really the best way to wrap up here, because it's not about what we think. It's not about all these thoughts that go around in our minds. It's about what we feel in our hearts, and it's about the peace that we cultivate within ourselves. That's really the seed of peace that manifests and blossoms in the world. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you all for being here. And
Thank you.
tomorrow we have just a quick ending for the Peace Summit. We have Ali Abu Awad, who I mentioned earlier today, in conversation with Einat Gerlitz. Ali is a powerful proponent of nonviolence in the Palestinian territories. I just realized a lot of alliteration. Powerful Palestinian proponent of peace. Yeah, that's a lot of peace. And in conversation with Einat Gerlitz, who is a conscientious objector, refusenik in Israel, who was jailed for not joining the IDF when she was supposed to. And that's going to air tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. It's a really powerful conversation. I think it's a really, really important conversation. We've talked a lot about that conflict, but this is such an important one. I do think it's really important to air and for people to see it. And it will inform a lot of Ali's insights about nonviolent resistance is informing our, in June, we're going to be doing a demonstration in Union Square for Meditation Magazine's, Meditation Magazine is organizing it, but it's going to be a demonstration for peace where Jews and Muslims specifically, but also people from other conflicts, Russians, Ukrainians, people like that, sitting together in a peace sign, in this the shape of a peace sign, holding hands and meditating with signs and flags for peace, rather than taking one side or the other, just taking the side of peace and love and oneness and unity and coming together rather than pushing apart. So I hope you join us tomorrow at 11:30, and I hope you've had a great time today and yesterday, and thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you all have a beautiful day. Bye.